Hi all, my name's Christy. Thanks for joining me, and I am still talking about this book by David Sinclair. He is a professor at Harvard. He is a scientist that has been studying aging and the causes of aging for his entire career. And the name of his book is Lifespan: Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to. So on this video, I am going to give you some of the hallmarks of aging according to David Sinclair. And I'm going to need to use my notes so I don't forget any of them. So I have them here. And let's start with telomere shortening. So telomeres are on the end of our chromosomes. They are similar. You could think of telomeres similar to those plastic caps that are in the end of your shoelaces. So they are the caps on the end of chromosomes. And as we age, our telomeres get shorter and shorter and shorter. And telomeres are intimately correlated to when we're going to die, meaning as the telomeres get shorter, we are closer and closer to death. It works out that way. However, you can lengthen your telomeres, or you can prevent your telomeres from getting shorter. And guess how? That's by exercise. Yes, exercise. Okay, so there's one hallmark of aging, is the shortening of our telomeres. The next one is genomic instability caused by DNA damage. Now, we get DNA damage all the time. You cannot prevent it. There's no way to prevent some DNA damage. However, there are things that really accelerate the DNA damage. And so that might be X-rays, flying in a plane, electromagnetic fields from our Bluetooth, from our cell phones, eating foods that have toxins in them, mycotoxins, living in a house that has toxic mold, the air we breathe, breathing pollution or smoke. All of those things accelerate DNA damage. So the goal is, how can I reduce the amount of DNA damage being done? So one way is, if you're going to have an X-ray, see if you can move into a low-grade ketosis. So being in a slight ketosis. If you're going to fly on an airplane, maybe you could be in ketosis. Now, in this video, I don't have time to explain the important things to keep in mind as you move in and out of ketosis, and about how it's really important to measure your ketones. Otherwise, how would you know? So for my clients, I do offer the ability to measure your ketones with a keto meter. I let them use the keto meter. They can test their ketones. They have a great idea about what I ate, how I worked out, how I slept, and here's my ketone level. And then it's easier to manage going forward. So genetic instability caused by DNA damage. Reduce the DNA damage. Alterations in the epigenome that cause or that control which genes are turned on and off. So how do the epigenome will turn genes on and off? What that means is our lifestyle will help the gene expression, meaning it'll either turn genes on so the genes express in one way, or it turns them off so they either don't express or they express in a different way. So again, there are lifestyle things that we could do to encourage those genes that might be detrimental to our health to shut them off. Now, I have heard percentages somewhere between. I've heard it said people will quote different percentages, but around 30% of our health outcomes is determined by our genes. So that leaves a huge amount of room for lifestyle changes that can affect health outcomes. So doing our best to make the right choices is important, at least if we want to have a long lifespan. And by lifespan and health span. What I mean by health span is I'm living really great. I'm moving, I'm able to do the things I want to do until the very end of my life. So there is no 10 or 20-year decline as we get older. And that's really, I think, hugely beneficial. Okay, so let's go on to the next one, and that one is mitochondrial dysfunction. So the mitochondria are the powerhouses of our cell. So they are what make energy. They are what make ATP. If our mitochondria are working really well, we've got a lot of energy, we're vibrant, we can keep going, kind of like the Energizer Bunny. If our mitochondria are working less well, then we're sluggish, we have brain fog. It also contributes to diseases. So keeping our mitochondrial functioning really well, and basically to keep it as simple as possible, if we want to improve our mitochondria, stop eating the things that make you weak, which would be fried things, things that have a lot of sugar, processed foods, those type of things. You know what to do, right? Okay, we're going to talk more about that later. So coming up we have senescent cells. So what senescent cells are, they're also called zombie cells. So what that might mean is we have these cells in our body that aren't working real good. They're really sluggish. They're tired. They might even be malfunctioning, but they won't die. And honestly, we would be better off if they would die and then we create new vibrant young cells. So that's what we want. The senescent cells are these zombie cells that just hang on and bring us down. So again, there are ways to encourage what's called autophagy. And autophagy is a system that gets rid of all of those sluggish zombie cells, or at least helps move us in that direction. So again, that's coming up, not in this video, but it's coming. So those aren't all, but those are a few of the hallmarks of aging as described by David Sinclair. Now, if you want to get into more detail around each of those hallmarks of aging, read his book. Here it is. You can read or you can listen. I've been listening to it. This is called Lifespan. So check it out. You can check it out at the library. That's what I did. Thanks for watching today. Now stay tuned. In a next video, I'm going to talk about how we can slow down aging, at least according to David Sinclair, how he suggest a few things. We're not recommending or prescribing, but a few things that you could do. Perhaps you could slow aging. Thanks so much for watching. Check out my website, wiseandwell.org, my YouTube channel, as well as Facebook. Let me know if you'd like to be friends, and comments. What do you think? Let me know.